Thanks, Ernie. Today, the stars of the Winston Cup Series face a winding par 400 here in Michigan, where a straight drive gets you in all kinds of trouble. Because on this course, it's all about going left.
This is the Discover Card Countdown to Green as we get ready to go racing.
The 2-mile track here in Michigan has the one ingredient that lures both fan and competitor to the sport: speed. But the trick on this track is not just how fast you go, it's how you go fast. 43 men ready to race 400 miles, and the most nervous guy on the team is not the one that drives the car, it's the guy that fuels it. The race to the Winston Cup Championship took some wild turns last Sunday at Watkins Glen. Now the teams go full throttle on this high-speed track at Michigan. Current point leader Sterling Marlin won this race last year. Today he wants to defend his trophy and dodge the ever-changing challengers that threaten his reign. Here, the track is wide, the pace is swift, and the 400-mile mission is demanding. Today, it's not just about horsepower, it's also about manpower. This is Michigan.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double time.
TNT Sports presents NASCAR. Today, it's the Pepsi 400 live from the Michigan International Speedway. Race 23 of the Winston Cup season and the second stop of the year here at Michigan. Success on this track means a near-perfect mix of handling and horsepower. But no matter how good your car is or how good your driver is, the challenge on this high-speed oval often is how good your fuel mileage is. TNT Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Today, it's the Pepsi 400 live from Brooklyn, Michigan. The NASCAR Winston Cup Series started racing here in 1969, and the 66 races at this track, only 7 times has the winner started outside the top 15. Today, the top 7 drivers in points all start 17th or worse. It could be wild. Now, here are 3 guys that always start up front and have to go the whole race without pitting. Alan, Wally, and Benny.
Okay, Bill. Hey, BP, this is, without question, one of the drivers' favorite tracks to race at.
It really is, because they can make a difference. If the car isn't fast enough, they can look around on the racetrack, move high, move low, move in the middle of the racetrack. They might have to do it in different ends of the racetrack, but the driver can make a difference. And you know what? Every time they make a pit stop, change 4 tires, or the temperature changes a degree or 2, they got to start all over again, trying to find that perfect groove around the racetrack. So when the race is over, Alan, they jump up on the car and wave to the crowd. They know they were part of the victory that day.
Yeah, a great car here is a car that's got a lot of downforce and a lot of motor, because you need that grip to run at the bottom of the racetrack or the middle. Like BP says, when I was in the Busch race yesterday, I was at the top, the bottom, the middle, all over this racetrack looking for grip. You'll see all these drivers doing this before the day's over.
Nice to have you back. Did you have some fun yesterday?
I had a blast yesterday.
I'll bet. It was fun watching.
You couldn't tell.
Yeah, no, we couldn't tell. 21 lead changes in that Busch Series race yesterday. More of the same today? We're hoping so. Stay with us. The pre-race opening ceremony and the start of the Pepsi 400 coming up.
The Pepsi Pepsi 400 from Michigan International Speedway, brought to you by Pepsi-Cola. Experience the joy of Pepsi. By Team Monte Carlo, the cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. By Kellogg's, the official breakfast food of NASCAR. And by Coors Original, real golden beer, official sponsor of Guys Night Out.
We're into the final countdown before the start of today's Pepsi 400 at the Michigan International Speedway. Let's go trackside now and join in today's opening ceremony.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our invocation, here is Pastor Raymond Bruce from the First Baptist Church of Brooklyn, Michigan.
Shall we bow together? Our Father and our God, is a great joy that we come before your holy presence today. Thou art the creator and the provider of eternal salvation, and every good and perfect gift cometh from thee. That which we are enjoying this day is a result of your love and mercy and grace, and we want to thank you. We are gathered here from all over this great country of ours, America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, to be a part of a sport that we enjoy very much. And it's my prayer that you might grant to each one of us safety and a good time of fun. I pray for the drivers, the owners, the sponsors, the pit crews, the media, the fans, and everyone here at MIS who has made this NASCAR event possible. Thank you, Father. We pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our national anthem, Sony recording artists, Little Big Town.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And now, ladies and gentlemen, with those magic words of motorsports, here is Michigan Lieutenant Governor Dick Posthumous. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Takes a while for some of these guys to get buckled in, huh?
We were just talking about that earlier. I was telling you guys that I noticed how long it takes now. You got to get in the cars earlier because of all the safety devices and everything I found yesterday. I needed an extra about 5 minutes to get in the car to get ready, so some of these guys are still not ready.
They'll be ready in a minute when we come back for the start of the Pepsi 400 in Michigan. 190-mile-an-hour action, plus the overhead fighter jets when we come back on TNT.
As a member of the Pepsi-Cola family, and on behalf of the employees of Pepsi-Cola North America and their bottling system, I'd like to welcome you all to the Pepsi 400. So fasten your seatbelts and get ready for great racing excitement.
Moments away from the start of the Pepsi 400, TNT live at the Michigan International Speedway. You see the field has not yet rolled from their grid positions to start the parade and pace laps. Scott Force in Thunder Motion today, Benny.
Well, Wally and I are going to show you just how easy it is to go around this racetrack side by side as we go inside NASCAR Thunder 2003. Wally, there you are, the Pepsi machine.
There I am, and I got you beat already going into turn 1, BP.
But that's me in the TNT Pontiac. And you can see I can go by Wally on the outside if I dare, because the racetrack is plenty wide enough. This time I'll try it on the inside since you were trying to block me on the outside.
I was doing a little mirror driving, but you're right. This is a fun track for the drivers because there is so much room to race, Benny.
And when you go in the corner, we see you going side by side. Wally, you need to tell the crew to raise your car up when you make that pit stop.
But I've got a draft on you now.
Coming down to the checkered flag. Can he do it?
I'm looking. Oh,
No.
you beat me.
I get to do the donuts in the grass.
And nobody did anything dumb. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Kind of kept it in the family. Friday, Dale Earnhardt Jr. with his first Bud Pole Award of the season. Now the 13th different qualifier for the Budweiser Shootout next February. More than $7 million paid out by Anheuser-Busch as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. All right, let's have a look at the Walmart starting grid for today's Pepsi 400. Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick leading a Chevy sweep of the top 5 spots in qualifying. If they finish that way, ooh, the complaints are going to be loud.
On the inside of row 2 is yesterday's NASCAR Busch Series winner Michael Waltrip. Let's try to talk to Michael. Michael, Benny Parsons, got me?
Yeah, BP, all fired up there and ready to bring these folks a race this afternoon.
We're all ready. Congratulations on your victory yesterday.
Thank you. It's great to get the Aaron's Dream Machine in victory lane for Bobby Kennedy and all the boys that worked so hard on that car. I'm real proud of them. We built it out behind my house, and it runs like a top, and I'm proud of those boys.
Did you learn anything yesterday in the Busch race that might help you today in this 400 miles?
Well, we were set on our setup before the Busch race, so we didn't change that any. Just reaffirm that you can run all over this place. You can run low and you can run high. It makes it a lot of fun for the drivers, and that's probably why there's about 200,000 people sitting around this place today, Benny. Napa Auto Parts Chevy should be fun to watch. Let's hope that's right.
Well, guess what? We'll be watching as close as we can. Good luck, Mikey.
Thank you. Have a good day, too.
Michael Waltrip lined up inside of row 2 for today's Pepsi 400. Looking at the rest of the starting grid, there's the championship leader Sterling Marlin way back in row 13. His rival, right now one of his rivals for the championship, Mark Martin, starts ahead of him up in row number 9. Some of the other guys up top in points, including Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy's back in row 15. We just saw him. There's Ricky Rudd in row 16.
See Derek Cope in the 49 car this week, and Jimmy Spencer obviously back in the Target machine. And Johnny Benson, they're talking about, has a very good race car, but starting 35th.
Provisionals now. Rusty Wallace not able to get into the top 36 on his time in qualifying. Bobby Hamilton had a really fast car in yesterday's final practice. We'll see. It's got to come from row 20 if he's going to make something happen today. Tony Raines in his second Winston Cup start gets the last spot in the field in Bill Baumgartner's car. Only one driver failed to qualify. Greg Biffle, the Busch Series championship leader, not quick enough to get into today's Pepsi 400. Just getting going with the pace laps. We'll take a break.
Welcome back to the 2-mile track here in Michigan. 152,000 fans on hand watching 43 cars circulate this track, getting ready for the green flag in the Pepsi 400. One car they're going to watch at the front of the field is Robbie Gordon, coming off a strong run last week at Watkins Glen when he finished 3rd. They tested here after Indianapolis, had an outstanding test, didn't practice as well as they tested. They're hoping they can race as well as they tested. Robbie Gordon with momentum, motor, and fuel mileage here at Michigan. Down pit road to Dave Burns.
Bill, Dale Jarrett, and crew very confident with 3 wins here, including his first ever. He runs very well at Michigan. Remember, earlier this year, he sat on the pole and nearly won this race. Matt?
Dave, last week at Watkins Glen, Ricky Rudd scored his first top 5 finish since he won back at Sonoma. The team feels like they're back on track. I talked to Fatback McSway and Ricky's crew chief. They went the entire final practice session on one set of tires. They feel like it could come down to a situation of 4 tires or no tires, and they feel like they've got a stout race car, Marty.
Well, Matt, Friday and Saturday did not go very well for Rusty Wallace. He was trying one of those new setups. So Saturday and happy hour, they put in a conventional setup. They don't really know what to expect today, but Rusty does have 2 things going in his favor. Number 1, he has his favorite car, Mad Max. Took him to his last win at California last year. Number 2, he starts 37th. How is that in his advantage? Last time Rusty started 37th was Daytona in July, and he finished 2nd. Alan?
Yesterday we had a racing commentator and a commentating racer. They're back in their sort of normal places today, and yesterday's commentating racer has got a stout car for today.
I'll tell you what, walking through the garage here this morning, all the guys said Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
This 20 car is awesome.
He's one of those guys that can run down on the bottom and get away with it, and that's what you have to have here, and he runs good here. Was he kind to me yesterday? I just want to know before we get started.
Really,
okay.
yes.
Except he was into your snack. Pace cars off. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick bringing the field down. The start of the Pepsi 400 in Michigan, live on TNT. Robbie Gordon in that 31 car, the quick duck to the inside.
And look at Bill Elliott on the outside in that 9 car, the winner at Indy, taking over 3rd, going for 2nd.
Elliott up from row 3 quickly.
And Elliott goes to the outside.
Kevin Harvick will lead lap 1. Bill Elliott is 2nd. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 3rd. Steve Park is 4th. Robbie Gordon 5th.
You know, the draft comes into play here, so if these guys will stay single file, or if the cars that do stay single file will pull away from this group right here that's running 2 and 3 abreast.
Look at Bobby Labonte in that 18 car. He's starting 11th. Got 3 spots on the opening lap. He's going for 4 and 5. And Steve Park getting shuffled back into 1.
And Bill Elliott's teammate, Jeremy Mayfield, in a 19 car. Look at him go to the corner and goes by Robbie Gordon.
And Elliott quickly all over Kevin Harvick for the race lead. And this is what it was like all 250 miles in the Busch Series race yesterday. What a great racetrack this is. Ryan Newman we're on board with. Here's Dale Jarrett looking underneath Michael Waltrip. Jarrett in the 88. Tony Stewart trying to come with him in Big Orange.
That was a battle for the 10th position. And Tony Stewart, ladies and gentlemen, started 24th. And that time by was 13th.
Michael Waltrip slipping back there. Mikey started.
And like we talked about, see where Tony's at? If he normally gets his car to run down there all day long, and that is a great place to run. Especially as we go along, the track gets hot, these cars will start sliding further and further up the racetrack. If you can keep your car on the bottom and have the horsepower to pull off the bottom of the corner, you've got a great car at Michigan.
There's Michael in that 15, the Napa car. He started 3rd. Last time by, he was 11th. Lost a couple more spots on this lap. Dave, what about Mikey?
Alan, I just spoke with his crew chief, Slugger Labby. He said he didn't get a very good start, said he went through all the gears, but then he just got shuffled to the outside and really has not been able to make up any ground.
Lots of trash out there.
You know, in 170 or 50 or 60,000 people buy hot dogs, they create a lot of paper.
Problem is that paper winds up on your grill. That can cause trouble.
3-car breakaway up front. You're looking back at the race for 7th, 8th, and 9th. 3 wide.
Look at Ricky Craven, that 32 car on the outside as he tries to go by Jeremy Mayfield, Robbie Gordon.
Now that's a, if they would have stayed 3 abreast, that's a big draft. These cars behind them will pull on. But they got singled out pretty quick.
And Craven started back in the 16th position. Last time by was in 6th.
Yep, nice early break there for Ricky. Skinner. Ooh, a little bump draft in there. Well, let's see. Maybe the 15's regrouped here after those first couple of laps. Still the same up front. Kevin Harvick, Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's your 3-car breakaway. Bobby Labonte has moved to 4th. He's 2.5 seconds behind these 3.
And here goes Bill Elliott on the outside for the lead, turn 2.
7 times at Michigan, Bill Elliott has gone to victory lane. 1 at Pocono, 1 at Indianapolis. Says the road course is a different animal. Trying to make it another oval track victory today for Ray Evernham and Dodge.
And this big red car, this number 9, same car he won Homestead, same car he won Pocono, same car he won Indy with. It might be this red number 9 versus the other 42 cars today.
So although Chevrolet swept the top 5 spots in qualifying, it's Bill Elliott's Dodge that has moved to the point, just underway in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. We're back in Michigan, and we've just gone under the caution flag. In the Pepsi 400, Dale Jarrett got in trouble off turn 4.
See some damage to the left front, like, I don't know if he hit the apron of the racetrack or he made contact with another car.
I think BP, that's from the grass. I think it folded in that left front valence, caved in that fender.
Bill Elliott brings the field back to the caution flag, first yellow of the race.
Here's the dim. See if we get a replay and tell us what happened to that fender.
Dale was running kind of in a pack of cars here. It's far right of the screen.
No, he just got loose. Just got the car loose.
And probably right there when that car, right there when the car started straight ahead, I think that's when that fender went down, or valence went down and touched the ground.
There you see him trying to slide up. In front of that is Jeremy. And that probably could have taken the air off his rear spoiler, because when you're drifting up the racetrack like that, you're already sliding, and he came in front of Jeremy, and it may have taken the air off the rear spoiler and got him turned. It's more than likely what happened.
Now we see when the car gets turned around and start going back in the right direction, I think we're going to see the left front fender. Right there, it's going to be like a snow plow. Yep, I didn't see it.
So Dale Jarrett on and now headed back off of pit road, still on the lead lap. But he is going to fall to the end of the line from running up in the top 15.
Oh, that's surprising. These guys are coming in.
Here comes everybody so far.
I think right now, if they pit now, that means they can make it the rest of the way on 3 stops.
So we'll probably see some fuel splashing gases here, splashing dash.
2 tire stops probably.
Okay, Dave, go ahead.
Bill Elliott has had so much success here, he certainly doesn't want to get lost at any point on this day. So he goes ahead and gets 4 tires. No changes to his car. 2 tires only for Elliott. Bill.
This is gas and go for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's already back out, leads everybody off of pit road.
A strategy smorgasbord.
And Robbie Gordon, the 31 car, evidently changed 4 because he's losing spot after spot.
Two tires, 4 tires, no tires. We just saw it all. As everybody came onto pit road, just 12 laps into the Pepsi 400 in Michigan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the first one off of pit lane. Back in Michigan, International Speedway coming to the green for the restart of the Pepsi 400. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team with fuel only gets him out in front.
Kevin Harvick gets a very good restart, drives down to the inside of Elliott. But I'll tell you what, Bill Elliott's gotten racing these days, hasn't he, Wally?
Well, I'll tell you what, when you got a good race car, you can get racing. And he sure has. That car he has just done everything right with.
Confidence, momentum, you name it.
And when you do, when a driver feels good about a race car, you want to take that race car every weekend. You want to take that same car. Have you had a favorite car, BP?
Oh, yes.
You just get a good feel for it.
Most everybody on the pit stops got right side tires or two tires. We actually heard a couple guys, just like Jeremy Mayfield, just took lefts. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sterling Marlin got fuel only. Most everybody else took two tires. Some of the guys now toward the back, like Ward Burton, got four tires on their pit stops. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running out in the lead. We intercepted this from his car just a minute ago.
Right now I'm a little tight in the center, a little bit loose off, good in. Really, I'm not worried if the tight in the center isn't the worst problem. Kind of, you know, just depends on how I drive the corner. It's very, very easy to get the car to push. It's very easy to get the car to be loose. So where it's at, I'm pretty happy.
The thing that's important is the good end. You want a car that you can drive in Michigan. You want to drive in deep. So you want to make that car very comfortable getting into the corners.
And it goes back to what you said, Benny, a minute ago before the green flag. The driver has a lot of input here. Junior said it all depends how I drive the car.
Exactly. What kind of line I take through the corner.
Junior shuffled back a little bit. Kevin Harvick to the point. This is the race for third we're looking at. Bobby Labonte and Joe Gibbs' car trying to get it away from Bill Elliott. And this is Ryan Newman running right behind Labonte. Marty?
The caution was very fortuitous for Ryan Newman because of the fact you talked about all the trash on the racetrack. He had picked up a piece of paper on the grill. The water shot up to 230. What he did under caution was got close to Bobby Labonte's bumper, and the piece of paper fell off. The water temperature dropped. He was a little bit loose, but still very happy, and they have a fast car.
Marty, if you're going to keep using big words like that, we're not going to go to you.
Got to carry a dictionary around.
Fortunate, Wally.
Thank you.
You know, and that's a couple of times we've talked about paper and hot dog wrappers and things like that. Let's show you exactly what we're talking about. Tape on the grill. These guys, all the air goes through the car. That slows the car down as that air goes in, hits the engine. To make the car faster, give more downforce on the front, they apply tape. Just duct tape on the car. That makes the car much better, gives it a lot more downforce. You see the green arrows. But that hot dog wrapper goes up, and you see the water temperature on the right go way over to the boiling point.
You know, yesterday, our water temperature in the Busch car was about 185, 190, and our car was tight, and I was looking for garbage to run over, because if you can get some of that trash on your grill, it actually helps the downforce of the car. But we were running cool enough. I was looking for them to be throwing hot dog wrappers on the racetrack.
Change for third. Ryan Newman has finally gotten by Bill Elliott. Take a little farther back here. Matt Kenseth from the 17, racing Sterling Marlin in the 40 for the 8th place.
Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, I think was a winner here in June when the cars raced here.
Yes,
Tony Stewart up there trying to get by Kurt Busch in the 97, Stewart in 20.
6th place there. Stewart now taking over 6th. Well, maybe.
They're contesting 6th anyway.
You'll never be sure at this racetrack. A lot of racetracks, somebody gets under, you're going into the corner. You've got to give him the spot. Not here.
Yeah, and you can get a real good run on somebody getting off the corner, but like I said, the draft is a big part here. Unless you have some help helping you push past that guy, sometimes you get right out, you pull out the path, and you just stop. It's like a parachute goes out the back.
We have the two Roush cars. Jack Roush owns both these cars, the 97 and the 17. And directly in front of those two are the two cars owned by Joe Gibbs, the 20, Tony Stewart, and the 18 of Bobby Labonte.
And Tony's going to take 5th away from Bobby there. So Big Orange got it rolling early.
You see Matt, when you saw Matt get up in front of the 97 car, you saw the rear car come around. He got loose. That's exactly what happened to the 88 car of Dale Jarrett.
Now, speaking of Dale Jarrett, he is on the lead lap. He's back in 31st place after that spin-off of turn 4 down through the tri-oval grass we saw just a minute ago. Now, we talked about the damage on his front end that he got and where he got it.
Well, and they were in the pits hammering on the thing, knocking it out. And watch this, folks. This is great as that left front fender goes down, digs in, and watch that fender buckle. And while it's incredible how much that can affect the handling of the car.
Yeah, they really worked hard on getting that back. because it is so critical for the downforce here, and I think they're going to be looking to fill that gopher hole, too, sometime during one of these yellows.
You see the gap from Dale Jarrett up to the leader, Kevin Harvick. You got to have a problem having like that. It's good it was at lap 12. They've got time to make it up.
But they'll probably have to chase the car a little bit. I'm sure that affected the handling a little bit. So they're going to have to wait till the next pit stop to make an adjustment, because I'm sure they didn't get it back perfect.
Matt Kenseth trying to get 6th place from Bobby Labonte.
And it looks like that some of these cars that just changed right sides now are struggling with their setup. Bobby Labonte ran a little bit better before the pit stop. Bill Elliott, who was leading the race before the pit stop, has now fallen back to the 4th position.
2nd place, Ryan Newman outside of Dale Earnhardt Jr. to get the spot. So Newman now the one that's pursuing leader Kevin Harvick. Just underway at the Michigan International Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Back in Michigan International Speedway, caution is just wait for debris in turn number 3. Check our Wendy's race menu next Saturday night. The night race at Bristol.
Oh, yes. That's not going to be too exciting.
Crashing and bashing. Oh, yeah, they'll be all kind of fun. Then the Southern 500 at Darlington. On Labor Day weekend, the night race at Richmond. Then the race for the championship moves over to NBC in Loudon, New Hampshire, September 15th. A lot of great action for you coming up over the next month. So, second yellow flag of the race. First one for Dale Jarrett. Spin into the grass off turn 4. This one is for debris.
Now then.
There's the spring rubber. Somebody lost the spring rubber, BP.
Yes. I'm surprised that it did not roll down the racetrack, and I guess that's why that NASCAR threw the caution flag, just to be sure that it was not a piece of metal. It was, in fact, a spring rubber.
And it's a pretty solid piece of rubber there. So if somebody kicked that up with a tire, that would be...
you wouldn't want to run that over.
So, thus the caution.
Now then, I wonder how many of those guys are going to change 2 again, or gas only.
How many of them are going to pit? They were in at lap 12. We're at lap 28 now.
Well, you figure the guys towards the back or the middle of the back have nothing to lose. I'd come in and get 4. If I was sitting around 23rd, 24th spot, I think I'd come.
Okay.
I think they'll all come.
Okay.
There are a lot of conversation down here. It's going to be a tire game, I think, all day down here, guys. 2 and 4. The big thing's going to be when you take your 2 and when you're forced to take your 4.
Yeah. And we know everybody loves 4.
Oh, yes.
So
I'll tell you,
they may all come in.
In that Busch Series race yesterday, 4 tires was the thing.
Yeah.
When Todd Bodine got those 4 tires, he was faster than Michael Waltrip until they had their little confrontation.
I wanted more, but I ran out.
Yeah.
And Bill, looks like you're right, because I don't see anyone staying on pit road. They're all coming on the racetrack. They're all coming down pit road, Marty.
Here's a twist on the arrow push story. Ryan Newman is too loose when he's out front, but he's good when he's behind other cars. They take a round of wedge out and a pound out of the right rear tire. Finished 2nd last week at Watkins Glen, looking for his first win. Bill.
Second stop for Kevin Harvick. Going to add a half-pound air pressure to the right rear. The 2-tire stop. Chassis adjustment on his way already.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting 4. I see mostly 4-tire stops down there. Dave?
A 4-tire stop for Tony Stewart. The radio communication from crew chief Greg Zipadelli was, our car is good, Tony. We can make the time back up. Let's take 4 now. They also made a wedge adjustment, and he was a little bit tight.
So Kevin Harvick, first off of pit road. He will continue to hold on to the lead at the Pepsi 400 at Michigan.
Back at the Michigan International Speedway, Bill Elliott, who had such a dominant car, and it is a car that he has won in several times before, has a problem. His car jumps out of gear when he lets off the throttle. That's when it's in gear, he's racing. He backs off just a bit, and it tends to pop out of gear. The crew hasn't given him anything to fix that yet. They just hope that it's not a recurring problem for the rest of this race. Alan?
Well, normally, Dave, keep your eye open. I would be surprised if they didn't hand him a bungee cord. Normally, when a car's jumping out of gear, when you get in fourth gear, the driver will take the bungee cord, and once he's in fourth gear, he'll hook it to the shifter, and they'll try to hook it to something behind the seat to keep that in gear. So if it's jumping out, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen.
Bill Elliott is back in 43rd place.
Man.
NASCAR Busch Series update for you. Yesterday here at the Michigan International Speedway, Michael Waltrip scored the win after a somewhat ferocious late race duel with Todd Bodine, who wound up in 4th place. Championship standings, Greg Biffle fell out at lap 19. Jason Keller was going to gain some points. He blew up late in the race, running 3rd. So the gap just about the same between the two of them headed to Bristol next Friday. End of that race yesterday, kind of contentious. Listen.
He ran into me, and so I tried to wait till he's exactly beside me, and I swerved at him and tried to cave in his right front fender.
I don't know what Mikey's crying about. I barely got into him.
You know, when you're racing for the win, you're not supposed to run into a guy. And he did.
Well, you know, the thing is here at Michigan, when you're racing like that off of turn 2, your car slides up the racetrack all the time. So, you know, I'm a little bit surprised Mike thought that was intentional, because I really doubted it was.
Back underway with Kevin Harvick leading. He got 2 tires on his stop. Jeff Green is 2nd. He got 2 tires. Jeff Gordon is 3rd. You got it. 2 tires only. Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, 4th and 5th. Then Dale Earnhardt Jr., the first of the previous leaders, who got 4 tires. He's already disposed of Mayfield, and he's moving up. Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, they got 4 tires on their stops.
And Junior goes by Mark Martin, takes that spot away, moves into 4th.
I know I said this once before, but yesterday in that Busch Series race, 4 tires versus 2, the 4 tires won out.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't, you know, sometimes 2 is better, but
I will disagree with that, because Michael Waltrip, with 10 laps to go yesterday, ran the fastest lap I saw all day long.
With what?
2 tires.
Once Todd Bodine got that damage and fell back.
Todd might have been able to run faster, but Michael, with those 2 tires, really did. I was just shocked at how well he ran. Speaking of Michael Waltrip, there he goes on the outside of the 12th car. Oh, he's going to drive in between 2 cars.
Michael trying to make his way back toward the front. Started 3rd, fell back in the opening laps. Now he's back on the charge again.
There's Tony down on the bottom.
2nd place, Jeff Gordon's going to go by Jeff Green. And we pick back up with 5th place here. Stewart right down on the white line.
It's amazing how he can keep that car down, and it just doesn't slide up the hill as he comes off the corner into the side of another car.
And that's what you'll get a lot of. We just saw that clip between Todd and Michael, especially off the 2. You come off there side by side, and you've got some laps on your tires. The guy on the bottom is going to slide up, and there's nothing you can really do. You just roll off the throttle and hope that you get cleared.
Boy, Jeremy Mayfield's car, that 19, just did not want to turn when he went into turn 1 there.
Jeff Burton, Dave Blaney trying to get by Jeremy Mayfield. That's a battle back about the 15th position, and Blaney, the 77 car, started 36th.
2nd place. 4 tires. Dale Earnhardt Jr. moving up. Back again, Blaney, Burton. 14th, 15th on back.
It does look like Jeremy's car, and that 19 car does look like it slides up the hill quite a bit.
Here comes Benson in the
Blaney
tail.
got loose down in the corner. Oh, that was close.
Catch your breath, Dave. Johnny Benson in that 10 started back in 35th place. And he's from Michigan.
Well, that's tight right there.
Tony Stewart on Jeff Gordon for 3rd. yesterday while you were out there, Wall. You just didn't know where to look on the racetrack from up here.
Really, and it's normally this place gets strung out, but boy, a lot of good racing going on right now.
So Stewart is through into third. Check this out. Since the beginning of the 2000 season, nobody has won more races than Tony Stewart. Stewart, of course, winning last weekend at Watkins Glen, New York.
Jeff Green, exceptionally good run today in that 30 AOL car. Goes by that time in the 5th position.
Yeah, they took the 2 tires there and got up to 2nd on that last pit stop, BP. But they've been running well lately. That whole Richard Childress renaissance that we've been talking about. Robbie Gordon has got, top 10 finishes in 4 of the last 5 races. We've seen Harvick's turn around. We've talked about that before. And Jeff's starting to come on, too.
I don't know if those 2 tires are helping him, though, right now.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, Benny, he hasn't said much on the radio about how this race car is handling since he took 2 tires for the 2nd time today. But this morning he told me that he felt so confident that this race car would be much better today than his Busch Series car was yesterday. And he finished 3rd here at Michigan. So confidence is high down in the 30 pit.
His race car is high, too.
Yeah, his car's real high on the racetrack.
Matt Kenseth working Jeff Gordon over for 4th place.
And him running up like that is just because he's got no grip. He's running the car in, and he's floating the car in until it stops sliding before you pick the throttle back up.
It's not going good for Brett O'Brien. He had a penalty for a lug nut issue on pit road a minute ago. Now we hear he's down a cylinder. Running on 7.
Yeah, I heard him go by just a moment ago in that dreaded sound of 7 cylinders.
How about 4 wide here?
That's good.
There are 4 different lanes anyway. This.
Hey, one thing, 30's got a pretty good motor in there. He bumped a couple guys down the straightaway already.
Way up by the wall. Somebody down on the bottom.
And Jeff Gordon in the middle.
And 152,000 here just because of that kind of racing. Kevin Harvick out in front. He has led 32 of the 41 laps that have been run so far driving for Richard Childress. He's up by a 2nd and a 3rd on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Watching NASCAR on TNT.
You're in an extremely high-risk situation that should have been explained to you.
From the network that knows drama.
The disc, the girl, the guns. By dawn, they don't exist.
See Arnold Schwarzenegger and Vanessa Williams, Eraser. Tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 Pacific on TNT.
90 miles into the Pepsi 400 in Michigan. Kevin Harvick is the leader by 9/10 of a second over Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's closing in on him.
Getting closer and closer, although last lap they ran about the same speed. Junior had been gaining the last 4 or 5 laps.
Tony Stewart 3rd. Now we check on 4th, 5th, and 6th. Matt Kenseth, Michael Waltrip, and Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch, another fast car right now.
Jeff Green has slipped back to 7th. Ryan Newman, Sterling Marlin, and Jeff Gordon make up the top 10 to this point.
Oh, Jeff Green, so high up in the corner, right up next to the wall, going in the corner.
I don't know. That didn't look like a hot dog wrapper.
Put some trash on his grill.
It's like a piece of cellophane or plastic wrap.
It's the 2nd time he's had some trash on the grill, and again, the water temperature is going up. It went up to 240 earlier in the race, and he got it to come off under green, but he just radioed in. There's something else up there, I think, because I'm losing the handle, and the temperature's going up again.
Yeah, 240's not good.
We see that piece of plastic right in the center of the grill.
And that looked like the stuff we saw in the first of the race out there, 1 and 2, BP.
Now, Bill Elliott He's running back in 29th place. Remember, he was back last on 43rd when he made a couple of pit stops under that last caution.
Right there, the car's out of gear. Right there, he pulls it back into gear. So what's happening is he's going in, and when you get off the throttle, that gear shifter, right where his hand is popping out of gear. So he's okay now when he's on the gas. So let's just watch when he goes into one.
He's taking out of gear himself.
Taking out of gear.
He is. He's knocking it out of gear himself.
Yep. That's because it's jumping out of gear, and he would rather jump out of gear or get out of gear where he wants it to instead of when you're going down in there. I will see a bungee cord in the future.
Yeah, I think if they do have a caution flag, I do believe someone's going to jump in the car, put a cord that he could hook onto that shifter and hold it in gear. Once you go down to 2,000 RPMs, now he goes back in gear.
But see, by him doing that, he's controlling it. If it jumps out of gear with your hand off it, the RPMs will go all the way over to the right, and you can not only hurt the engine, but you also could crash.
And Bill Elliott 8th in points right now, and in a very tight fight there, as are all the top 10, so he doesn't need that.
I'm amazed how Bill Elliott is able to do this. He's passing cars. Here he goes by Robbie Gordon and doing this all at the same time.
And this is a place you probably could get away with the BP. It'd be pretty tough to do at Darlington or somewhere like that.
Meanwhile, Earnhardt Jr. has caught the 29 car. And now it looks like those 4 tires this time on Junior's car is better than the 2 tires on Harvick's car.
Here he comes. Harvick has led 41 laps so far today. Kevin Harvick talking to his team a moment ago about that 2-tire stop. Here's what he had to say.
For most of that run right there, you were about 2/10 faster than the car behind you. 10-4, I was kind of moving around a little bit just to see if I can find something. 10-4, I think it'll get a lot better too when we get a chance to get 4 stickers on that thing, get the scuffs off the left. Just can't afford to right now, I don't think. Now, if it'll ever run out of gas right here, everybody's going to have to give 4. I mean, some of the guys in the back right there got 4 in the end, but we'll get them next time.
Yeah, and Kevin pretty much let Earnhardt Jr. go there, because if a guy's got 4 tires and he's on your bumper and you only have 2, your car can get real loose when he's behind you, as close as Junior was there.
And he got those wrappers off the grill. There were actually 2 up there, but he got behind Harvick, got him off the grill, and then went by him.
Pretty good corner then. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back out in front of the Pepsi 400. Just past 100 miles of the event are complete. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. TNT Sports coverage of NASCAR comes to you today from Brooklyn, Michigan, and the Michigan International Speedway, where the Pepsi 400 is just past its 1/4 point. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader. Time for our singular call to the pits. I've got Bill Weber on the speed dial. Bill?
And I was going to let the machine get it out of him because this race is so good. But I'll tell you, the Bud Chevy that started on the pole is pretty good, too. Brand new race car. Only time it's been on the track, tested in Kentucky. Good in, tight in the center. Got the wrappers off the grill, halfway on fuel. It's Earnhardt Jr. so far. Right behind him, the 29 of Kevin Harvick. They've had 2 pit stops, have changed 2 tires both times, so they still have scuffs on the left side. They've changed rights both times. They had to start the race on the tires they qualified on. When they get 4 tires on it, it'll be a little loose, but Harvick's a little tight, as we heard him talk about. Dave?
Matt Kenseth trying to hold off Tony Stewart. Kenseth told me this morning he's going to try to run the bottom of the track all day long because not as many cars run well down there. He feels he can. The 20 car of Tony Stewart, well, 4 tires, you bet. They are working very fine for the 20 car right now. Marty?
Balance very good for Ryan Newman, Dave. He just picked up another spot. He's up into the 5th position. The car is coming to him. One of the cars that took 4 tires last time. They think that will be better on the long runs, and that's where Ryan's good, on the longer type of runs. Dave?
This morning, Kurt Busch's team was ready to push his car to the line, but they pushed it back in. The motor builder thought that he heard something wrong. They did not. His car is running fine. The motor is very strong. Michael Waltrip had problems earlier with his radio. He couldn't hear his crew, and when he talked, nothing but static. He has a second radio in the car. He flipped a switch to the second radio. Everything is fine now for Michael. Marty?
Sterling Marlin is saying nothing on the radio, and his crew says, you know what, that's good. He's in the 8th position. They, too, took 4 tires last time. And again, hadn't said a word, so they're very happy with the chassis. They really need a top 10, only 2 in their last 8 races, Matt.
Marty, Jeff Green looking for his first career win, runs back in the 9th position. He's taken 2 tires, 2 right side tires on both his pit stops, but now he thinks because the left sides are old, that the left front is starting to wear out. The car is tight in traffic. He wants to free it up. It's getting much worse off the corners, Bill.
Jeff Gordon says if he had to win a race, he'd want to go to Watkins Glen or Sonoma because he runs so well there. But if you ask him his favorite track, he'll tell you it's Michigan. He's had a lot of success here. The car is a little too free right now. They'll take a rubber out of the right rear on the next stop. The 48 car, the car he co-owns, the driver that he found, Jimmy Johnson, around the 24, remember? That's because the 24 is too free. How about that 48, Marty?
Great. Doing a great job is that young guy, Jimmy Johnson. They are good into the corner, a little loose off. They're talking about a track bar adjustment next time. Remember, he started 29th, and he's already way up in the 10th position and back upstairs to Allen.
Watching Dale Jarrett there continue to pick his way back up through the field after that early spin that brought out the first caution of the race.
That is impressive, Jarrett, to restart the race at the tail end of the lead lap cars and work his way towards the front.
Dale Jarrett running in 12th place right now, Dave.
And I just checked with his pits guys for that earlier fender damage from when he had the spin. No problems there. Dale did report that the car is a little bit better, but it's still loose. They're going to make an adjustment for that next time he comes into the pits. Bill?
Ricky Craven in a battle on the track with Gordon to his left. Now a battle up front for second.
And that's
Allen.
Just Matt Kenseth going by Kevin Harvick to pick up that spot, Bill. So Kenseth, the winner here in June, moving toward the front. All right, let's go back to Bill on Ricky Craven.
And Craven continues his battle on the track. The only problem with his car is that it's been tight off the corner. So last time, 4 tires and a wedge adjustment trying to make Ricky Craven a little stronger. This team announced they'll go to Pontiacs next year, Matt.
Bill, the other Yates rocket belonging to Ricky Rudd took on 2 tires. His first steps of the car was good, but he saw a lot of other cars sliding around. The last stop, 4 tires, no adjustments. Rudd very happy with the race car. He's climbed up to 13th, Marty.
Matt, what a great run for Dave Blaney. Started 36 up to 15th. Ryan Pemberton, the crew chief, told me this morning it's either a hero or zero day for us. Looks like they're heroes so far, and they're used to coming from the back to the front here in Michigan. In this race last year, started 41st, finished 6th. Matt?
Marty, Jeff Burton runs in 16th. His team, they're comparing their notes and set up to the 17 and look at the air pressures and the lines that Matt Kenseth is running on the racetrack. Jeff wants what Matt has. They made a lot of adjustments, Bill. He's very loose.
Behind him on the track is Bobby Labonte, and Labonte fans, listen. Early in this race, Bobby came across on the radio and said, you guys listen, this is the best car we've had all year. This is from a guy that's already won once. Best car we've had all year. I'm going to drive my butt off.
Dave? Marty, Johnny Benson radioed in that his car is acting funny. He meant the motor. How optimistic are racers? Crew Chief James Ince called for the binoculars. He can't see a wrapper or anything on there. He wants to look really close and see if he can see anything on the front of the car that might relate to motor problems. As for the 6 of Mark Martin, he told me earlier today that his car doesn't do the good things it's supposed to do on new tires. It doesn't do the good things it's supposed to do on old tires. He's been frustrated this entire weekend just trying to keep that car running and maintain his 2nd place position in the points. Bill?
The 44 car of Jerry Nadeau battling with the 6 car on the racetrack here at Michigan. The 44 and the 6 on the track. And as you can see, Jerry Nadeau is currently in 19th place. Good run so far, trying to hang in the top 20, adjust the car, get it a little stronger. 44 of Nadeau. Meanwhile, the 43 of John Andretti, a track where he hasn't had tremendous success here, but also hanging on in the top top 20. John Andretti started 10th in this race, trying to ride the high line here at Michigan and get his way to the front. Meanwhile, Steve Park has a brand new contract for 2003 and a relatively good race car. Used pit strategy earlier in the race to get himself forward, slipped back further in the field, but this morning Park was optimistic about his chances of a strong finish here at Michigan, Matt.
Phil trying to reel in the one. It's a 26 car of Talbot Iron, heartbroken over what could have been a win yesterday, trying to bounce back today. He started all the way back in the 22nd position in the last stop, a 4-tire change. His car was tight, especially up off the corner. They adjusted with wedge. Dave?
Bill Elliott right now, no plans to hand him a bungee cord through the window, according to crew chief Mike Ford. He has won here 7 times. They're going to try to do anything they can, however, to help him win today. Alan?
So Bill Elliott continues to struggle after leading 6 laps early in the race, driving one-handed at 160-plus miles an hour.
That's his problem. His car is jumping out of gear. And while I guess he's choosing to slip it up into neutral so he can put both hands on the steering wheel as he goes down in the corner.
That's why I'm surprised they don't just get a bungee cord and wrap that thing back. Well, it might take too much time to do.
They're going to get a chance here in about another 12 or 13 laps. We should see everyone on pit road here as we've had a very long green flag run.
But I don't think we see that happen under a green.
Dale Earnhardt, fine. Okay. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your leader. You see the interval back to Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, Brian Newman, and Tony Stewart round out the top 5. 67 of 200 laps are complete. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
The Pepsi 400 from Michigan International Speedway, brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes or grab life by the horns. By Stolichnaya Citrona Premium Malt Beverage. Tonight, we drink Citrona. By Best Buy. For the latest technology, turn on the fun at Best Buy. And by new high-endurance clear gel from Old Spice.
72 laps complete here at the Michigan International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out in front of the Pepsi 400, and we're coming to the beginning of the window for green flag pit stops. Everybody was last in under the caution at lap 29. 50 laps is the magic number.
And these guys, a lot of guys said they would probably pit the first time on the green flag around 47, 48 laps just to make sure that they didn't run out of fuel, because the worst thing that could happen to you would be run out of fuel right here and have to coast all the way around this 2-mile speedway. You'd be a couple of laps down by the time you got to the pits, got fuel, and got back out.
Jeremy Mayfield was just on pit road and now back off again in one of Ray Evernham's Dodges. Tony Raines is on pit road with the hood up on his car. Brett Bodine has just come back onto the track. He spent 15 laps behind the wall getting repairs made to his car. There's Raines.
And we see him pushing the car towards the garage area, so he will finish 42nd, 43rd today. Mike Skinner has the 4 car on pit road.
There's Skinner. Had to pull out a backup car after a practice crash on Friday. Qualified that backup car 14th.
That thing is overheating bad.
And that's because there's paper on the grills. Skinner had radioed in that it was getting hotter. Let's see if that paper falls off the front of the grill or they take it off. I don't think they've seen it. Now they got it. They got the tires on, clean the grill. We'll see if that cools off the car. It certainly should, but you can see that vent spewing steam. And now coming down pit road, Steve Park had an outstanding qualifying run, started 4th. Go around to the right side. You'll have to watch and see how many teams take 2 and how many teams take 4 on their stops. They make a wedge adjustment on Park, come around to the left side. So he's going to get 4. Some of these guys that only took 2 under caution are going to get burned here if they have to pit under green, because they're going to lose time by having to take 4. Here comes Park.
Top of the screen, Joe Nemechek coming at you, just leaving after his pit stop. That's Mike Wallace, also on the pit road in A.J. Foyt's Conseco car.
You know, I think that Mike Skinner probably lost enough water that I don't know if it's going to cool off or not, because all that coming out the overflow was steam and water.
I agree, Benny. I think that they were pushing a lot of water when they came out pit road, so he may not have enough in that engine.
Skinner back on track after his pit stop. Now Moore coming onto the pit road. Got Ward Burton in. Behind him, Casey Atwood is pitting. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon also slowing down and coming off the track.
Alan Ward Burton tight all day. Another massive track bar adjustment for the 22 car. 4-tire change, a little bit of trouble by Tom Hubert getting the tire on the left rear. Bill.
Jeff Gordon on pit road for 4 tires. They're also planned to take a rubber out of the right rear to help improve the handling problem. He's just been tight since the race got going. So it's 4 tires. Dave?
Bill Elliott's car, not too bad. They're going to make a chassis adjustment, a little bit tight off of turn 4. 4 tires for Elliott, full of fuel, and he's leaving pit road. Matt Kenseth also coming in now. Bill, we'll go to you on the 8 car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. darts in behind Bill Elliott, comes to his pit stall, the very first one in turn 1, so he's got an easy exit here. They're going to make a chassis adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. He's good in 1 and 2, just a little bit tight in 3 and 4. But it's been an outstanding run for Jr., who started from the pole. Left rear is done, waiting on the left front, tight the lugs. Jr.'s on his way.
Good stop for Jr. and those guys. But Kenseth, here he comes, the 17 car, right behind him. Ryan Newman on pit road.
Ryan had taken over the lead when Junior pitted, Marty.
Ryan Newman very happy with the car. Got a little bit tight there at the end of the run, but they are very good on the longer runs. They think that's going to be their strength later today. Well within their fuel window now. It'll be 4 tires, and they make no adjustments. Dave.
Tony Stewart's very strong race car is still a little bit tight. They're going to make a track bar adjustment for Tony, and they're going to change 4 tires on this car. The crew has picked up about a half a second the last 6 weeks, practicing hard, making sure they give Tony the fastest stops they can. Matt.
Dave, the 99 of Jeff Burton in. He entered pit road just outside of the top 10. He's already away. Just a wedge adjustment. They couldn't go down any lower on the track bar. Bill.
Now Robbie Gordon zooming down pit road, has to smoke the tires, stopped it just past the mark on his pit stall. Basically did not see the stall until he was just about here. Right side tires and a chassis adjustment. It's been a little tight through most of the race, around to the left side. His teammate Kevin Harvick was also on pit road, had to take 4 tires under green. Dave.
Last time Kurt Busch was in, his car was tight in, a little loose off. They made a wedge and track bar adjustment. They're going to crank on it again, try to make the car better. 4 tires for Busch, and he's gone. Matt?
Service is completed on the 30 car, Jeff Green. Timmy Lanigan, Ron Liddell slips in the pit, falls down. They made a track bar adjustment. The car just too tight in traffic, needed to free it up.
Ricky Rudd took over the lead when Kurt Busch stopped. Now Rudd is on the pit lane for his service.
Matt? And Ricky Rudd already in for service. The guys are out on the left side. Ricky told Babcock, I just don't know what to tell you. I just can't get this race car to get into the racetrack. They made an air pressure adjustment.
Man, oh man, they almost got $700 more than my money. 13.4, easy, guys.
Benny almost jumped off this booth here.
Great stop.
He already gave out 700 on the pre-race. On the countdown to green, he thought he was going to have to give out some more.
And here's Kenseth in front of Junior after the exchange of pit stops.
And this will be the lead now that Ricky Rudd has stopped. So Matt Kenseth, great pit work by that team.
That's why they got the
debris on the racetrack. Caution is out. Everyone had pitted, so nobody gets caught here a lap down. But the yellow flag's going to wave for the 3rd time in the race. So don't expect, well, you never know. Maybe somebody will come back in, but the leaders have just stopped under the green, and the caution flag is out in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. Under caution in the Pepsi 400 at the Michigan International Speedway for debris on the racetrack in between turns 3 and 4. None of the front runners came down pit road under the caution. As we surmised, they all stayed on the track, having just stopped under green.
They just couldn't give away that track position to come in. Some of them probably want to make changes, but you just can't give that much track position away.
Course pit summary, Kevin Harvick on the losing end of the front runners this past time. Kurt Busch and Dale Jarrett really were the big gainers. Busch and Jarrett moving into 4th and 5th positions after their stops.
And Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, we saw him spin earlier. He has a very good race car, and he's probably hot enough right now, mad enough that he's very focused on trying to get that car to the front and make amends for spinning off turn 4.
Next weekend, we go from the 200-mile-an-hour action of this 2-mile Michigan Speedway to the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway. They'll be knocking fenders, and there'll be all kind of mad people. Coverage begins Friday on TNT with Bud Pole qualifying. Friday night, it's the Busch Series race presented by Cab Rental Stores. And then next Saturday night, the Sharpie 500. Coverage begins with Discover Card Countdown to Green at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
You see these cars running 2, 3 wide through the corners here at the Michigan Speedway. Next week at Bristol, they get 3 wide. You'll see the biggest wreck you've ever seen in the history of stock car racing.
If they get 3 wide, they'll be crashing.
Yes.
Bristol.
Now, we got a restart coming up. You see those 2 red lines on the wall on the left, along with the orange cone on top of them. That is the area that the leader is supposed to restart the race here at Michigan today. Last week at Watkins Glen, on the last lap restart, there was some discussion as to whether or not Tony Stewart jumped the gun.
Well, I mean, obviously he jumped the gun. Tony admitted that he jumped the gun because he saw those guys back there. He said, those guys are setting me up to beat me. They're going to try to get the jump on me, so I'm going to get the jump before they do.
Earlier today, I spoke with NASCAR Winston Cup Series Director John Darby and asked him for his interpretation of that last restart by Tony Stewart at Watkins Glen. Here's what he said.
The leader's worked all day for that position, and he has earned the right to control, to a point, those restarts. If the leader starts the race and he starts it properly and nobody else in the race goes, it obviously looks much worse than what it did, and that's part of what happened last week. Even in talking to the drivers that were behind the 20 at Watkins Glen, they didn't have a full-blown effort on that last restart, and that made it appear worse than it did. Took every inch of the rule, took it to the extreme advantage. Yeah, he did. Was it out of bounds? No, I don't believe it was.
And I agree with John. If you're the leader, you should be setting the pace. I know there is an area where you should restart, but frankly, Tony caught those guys behind him sleeping. So I would have done the same thing. If you want an advantage, especially if you only have 1 lap of racing left, I would have taken it.
You'd have caught anybody sleeping if you'd have started up in turn 11 like Tony did, Wally.
Yeah, but that's for the win, so I'm glad I would have caught them all.
Well, and Tony again, he saw the guys back there, he got a jump, and away he went. But I mean, obviously, he restarted very, very early. If I'm in the position that NASCAR's in, what do? I probably would have black flagged Tony for jumping the start.
And they have done that before.
Oh, yes, it's been done before. But they didn't. Tony won the race, and again, he had a pretty tough week the week prior to that, so.
But like John said, those 2 guys behind were, Ryan Newman and Robbie Gordon were not expecting that, and they got caught sleeping. They should have been paying attention a little bit more because they had to know it was coming.
And as it's described to the drivers in the weekly drivers briefing, the restart is in the vicinity of the double red line.
We don't know how many yards vicinity is.
Well, that's it. And as John said, it's given the leader of the race the leeway. He is in control of restarting the race.
That famous gray area. That's the vicinity area.
All right, right there, somewhere around those 2 red lines, Matt Kenseth is supposed to hit the throttle. Ready? You see, he was past those double red lines before he hit the throttle.
And that's his prerogative, too.
That's his prerogative. And the second place car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., can't go by him until he accelerates, the leader.
So what we're saying is restarts are kind of like pass interference in football. What contact is pass interference and what isn't? Same thing with these restarts. It's in the vicinity of, but the leader's sort of in charge.
It's a little bit different here because, first of all, you've got a wall you can be up on the right side. So you're not going to get past on the right side on an oval because you're up against a wall. You're not going to get past at the start-finish line. At Watkins Glen, if you restart where that cone is and you waited to that cone, you would be 4th getting into turn 1 because the guys behind you will anticipate it and they'll make a run on you and I believe pass you before you get into turn 1.
So Well, I guess it's good for Tony. You weren't the referee last weekend, BP.
That's true.
You'd have thrown the penalty flag. Matt Kenseth is the leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is second. They're locked up for third. Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman. Jimmy Johnson is running right behind them in fifth. And then Dale Jarrett coming all the way back from the lap 12 spin down into the tri-oval grass. Right now he's running sixth, Dave.
Well, Alan, we thought that might deflate DJ just a little bit, or at least hurt his car, Todd. It doesn't seem like it did either.
No, if you want drama, that's what you call drama on TNT right there. Those first 80 laps were pretty exciting. We made some changes to the car yesterday after happy hour. The car was a little bit tight from the center out. And obviously we got the car a little bit too free. And, you know, the car was fast, but just pinched it down there off of turn 4, got the thing a little bit loose and spun out. You know, we got a great race car. We made a couple of chassis changes, pulled the spring rubber out, and the thing's really bad fast. I mean, we've gone all the way from the back all the way up to the top 5. So we got a great race car, a great race team, and an awesome engine here today. So hopefully we can bring this UPS Ford Taurus home today in first. And I'd just like to take a minute and say hey to Debbie, Tyler, and Chandler back home watching it, and all my skill friends up there at Lake Norman.
They're seeing a heck of a race up front, aren't they, guys?
Goes Junior to the lead, the 8 car back to the front.
Remember, Matt Kenseth got the spot away from Junior just off the green flag pit stops.
But something's going on with Tony Stewart. We were talking about just a moment ago, and he has fallen back to the last time by 19th position.
6 seconds behind Dale Jr.
Kurt Busch going to that second position by Kenseth. Here comes Ryan Newman in the 12.
Chevy, Ford, Ford, Ford. Chevy, Ford, Chevy. That's the way the top 7 run. Top Dodge is Sterling Marlin in 11th place. Top Pontiac is Bobby Labonte in 13th.
Kurt Busch, the 97 car. He must be confused. The Sharpie 500 is next Saturday night.
He's stalking right now.
That's the stalk mode?
He's in stalk mode.
Looking low. Looking low. He's there. He's there.
Well, that's the passing mode there.
Yes, it is. Kurt Busch goes to the point.
Oh, almost. Junior may take it back on the outside.
Well, he's got the drafting help, like we talked earlier. Not that he needed it right there.
Yeah, he needs that high groove through 1 and 2.
That's Ty Norris, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s spotter, talking to his driver. Dave, what's up with Tony Stewart?
Well, he radioed in, guys. His quote was, "It's all over the place." He's not quite sure what is wrong with it, but it seems to be getting better. And then he commented that it's the same trouble they've been having the last couple of weeks. So if that's the case, according to Tony, it does get better. And at this moment, it has gotten better.
Now, the last couple of weeks, Tony was talking about vapor lock and the fuel situation on restarts. I wonder if that's what he's talking about.
That's exactly what he was talking. That's one reason he said that he jumped back to the restart at Watkins Glen. That's one reason that he said he started so soon, because his car the fuel would boil and vapor lock, and going down in turn 1, he would lose power. And he was afraid all those guys would get past him, as Wally said, and pass him down in turn 1. So maybe, once again, he has the same problem, vapor locking or boiling the fuel on his caution flash.
Just something up with Jeff Burton, Matt?
Right now, Al, he's running back in the 14th position. The concern, the car could be overheating. He came on the radio 3 laps ago and said, Frank, the water temperature is fluctuating between 220 and 240. Now he says it's around 240. Jeff Paxson, the lead engine specialist for Roush Racing, is down here in the pit. They were talking about getting some stop leak stuff to put in the car if they had to. And then Jeff came on and said, Frank, I smell something. I smell something.
I smell a leak change, Matt. Kurt Busch. Okay, I see one. That's pretty good. Kurt Busch by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Ryan Newman right in the mix as well. We're coming up on halfway in the Pepsi 400 at Michigan. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Give it up, Wally!
always wanted to shoot this gun, and I was aiming at this lantern over at the Coleman deal, and I hit it. I was on the TNT Pepsi stage here in Michigan before the race this morning. I was shooting T-shirts, but they had a big Coleman lantern over there, and I aimed for it. I don't know how I hit it. So they were shocked. What have we learned here, Benny? Don't tick Wally off when there's a gun of any kind around.
I got you.
He's good with it.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's fallen back to the 4th position. You saw Kurt Busch, the leader, go by Ryan Newman currently in 2nd spot. Kenseth in 3rd. Right now, the Roush-Coutiers are doing pretty good. Kurt Busch leading. Kenseth in 3rd spot.
Got a good race going on for 9th, 10th, 11th. Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Johnson. Johnson in the 48, Rudd in the 28. And here comes Bobby Labonte in the 18. Look at that. I mean, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Just drives up beside.